Hey guys! Today, we're playing Garen. Garen is always at the top of the list when it comes to recommended champions for beginners. Does being beginner-friendly mean he's weak? Not at all. From beginners to pros, Garen is easy to play but always delivers solid performance. Garen is mainly played in the Baron lane. You might occasionally see him mid, but we'll skip that for today. Our matchup today is Pantheon. You don't really see Pantheon in the Baron lane that much in Wild Rift. Pantheon's early game is super strong. In the early game, don't force yourself to take CS. Your top priority is to survive without dying until level 5. As you can see, if you greed for CS, even a tanky champion like Garen will take a ton of damage. Let's not force anything here. I'm just going to recall for now. To avoid dying, rushing plated steel caps early on will heavily reduce Pantheon's AD damage. Pantheon's engage with a skill 2 is really strong. You can avoid a one-sided trade by timing your defensive skill and auto attacks properly. Against Pantheon, make sure to take bone plating. It's super effective against his burst damage and all-ins. Once you hit level 5, shove the wave to pin Pantheon down in lane. This stops him from roaming to other lanes with his ULT. Now, let's take a look at Garen's skills. First, let's look at his passive. Garen's passive automatically restores his HP every second if he hasn't taken any damage or skills from enemies for a short time. This is the key passive that backs up Garen's lane sustain. Because of this, even damage trades are always a win for Garen. Since this effect scales with your level, Garen's HP regenerates crazy fast out of combat in the late game. It's simple, but it's an incredibly useful passive skill. Since Garen is mana-less, this passive saves you the time and hassle of recalling, making it easy to gain an advantage. By the way, buying anti-heal just to counter Garen's passive is a complete waste, so don't do it. Next, let's move on to his skill 1. It cleanses any slows on you and increases your movement speed for a short time. Your next basic attack is empowered, dealing bonus damage and silencing the target. The movement speed buff isn't just for gap closing. It has so many uses, like returning to lane after a recall, roaming, or escaping after drawing pressure while split pushing. You can also use this skill to cleanse heavy slows when you're hit by champions like Nasus or Darius. So, it's generally a safer bet to start trades with your skill 3, and save your skill 1 for chasing or escaping. It's fine if you have enough kill pressure to burst them down from skill 1 all the way to your ULT, but don't just waste your skill 1 blindly. That being said, Garen doesn't have any dashes or blinks, so skill 1 is his only way to gap close. Because of this, his impact tends to fall off in the mid to late game when more mobile champions show up. Skill 2 used to be a lot stronger, but it got nerfed recently. Still, it's a very solid skill even now. Since skill 2 provides damage reduction, the golden rule is to time it perfectly with the enemy's most powerful skills. Skill 2 has a very long cooldown in the early game. When your skill 2 is available, you want to aggressively look for damage trades. Conversely, if you're playing against Garen, you have a great opening to attack right after he uses his skill 2 because its cooldown is so long. Next up, skill 3 is a skill where Garen spins his sword, dealing continuous damage to nearby enemies. As it levels up, the number of spins increases, improving his damage output. If you deal damage a certain number of times, it reduces the enemy's physical defense by 10%. Just by spinning with skill 3, you automatically build up stacks for Conqueror, allowing you to deal massive damage during trades. Skill 3 damages nearby minions, while also shredding the enemy champion. Since it deals damage through a skill rather than basic attacks, you won't draw minion aggro, allowing you to take a completely one-sided trade. You can actually use skill 1 while spinning with skill 3. However, if you input a basic attack during the spin, it will stop skill 3 to prioritize the attack. To maximize the spin's damage, you need to practice not weaving in unnecessary attacks.
Enemy slain.
Since Garen's skill 3 gives him amazing wave clear, you can aggressively shove the wave from early on. This allows you to chip away at enemy tower plates and minimize your risks if you happen to get taken down. Garen's ULT is an incredibly powerful finisher that deals true damage based on the target's missing health. Unlike Darius's ULT, Garen doesn't have a kill indicator that changes color. However, against squishy champions like marksmen or mages, you can burst them down with an all-in once they reach about half health. Even if you can guarantee a kill, it's important to save your ultimate if you can finish them off with just basic attacks or other skills. By doing this, you can keep your ultimate ready in case the enemy jungler shows up or for the next fight, which heavily increases your survival rate and kill potential. Garen's ULT has a point-and-click ability. If the enemy breaks line of sight or becomes untargetable while casting, the skill will fizzle out. So watch out for enemy blinks or invincibility skills like spell shields. Even though Garen is a fighter, he's naturally tanky. So, building Black Cleaver as your core item and mixing in tank gear depending on the enemy team comp is consistently powerful. Steric's Gauge is highly effective for Garen because of his high base AD, boosting both his survivability and damage output at the same time. Deadman's Plate boosts your movement speed, perfectly supporting Garen's high mobility playstyle. Hullbreaker is listed as an option to heavily enhance your split pushing. Depending on the situation, building lethality items is an option, but for beginners, a fighter build with enough tankiness is much more stable and reliable. Conqueror is his best rune since skill 3 automatically stacks it up, letting you dominate in extended damage trades. For your secondary runes, taking Giant Slayer helps you deal consistent damage, even against tanky matchups. Garen has a very flexible build path. Generally, just by focusing on Black Cleaver plus tank items, you can easily pilot him as a highly effective champion. Garen has a very simple kit, making him easy to play even for beginners. Let's quickly go over Garen's strengths. Repeat your basic combos for short trades, and use your passive heal to slowly widen the HP gap. Once you lower their health enough, finish them off with your ULT and ignite. In team fights, you can use your skill 2, Courage, to act as a frontline while looking for opportunities to pressure the enemy carries. He has a low difficulty level, so anyone can master him pretty quickly. His skill 1 gives him great mobility, making it easy to return to lane or roam. Since Garen doesn't use mana, you never have to worry about mana management. You can use your skills as much as you want, which greatly reduces the number of times you need to recall.
Shut down.
Next, let's talk about Garen's weaknesses. Garen doesn't have any hard CC, so he lacks catch potential. He's also not very good at setting up ganks. Garen doesn't have a blink or a dash, so his only way to approach is the speed buff from Sylvan. This makes him struggle against ranged matchups. He also tends to lose his impact in the mid to late game when more mobile champions show up.
Protect our land.
If you're against a ranged champion, don't force anything, and play safe to make sure you don't give up a kill. Garen's only CC is a silence, and his AoE range is quite small, so his overall utility is pretty low. Therefore, even though his controls are simple, having a deep understanding of the game is crucial to be successful with him. Now, shifting away from game strategy, let's talk about some fun Garen trivia. Garen is the eldest son of the prestigious Crown Guard family of Demacia, and he is actually Lux's older brother. He is a noble knight true to his heritage, and has been childhood best friends with the royalty, Jarvan IV. Next, let's look at champions Garen has an advantage against. He can easily win favorable matchups against Gwen, Poppy, Nasus, Dr. Mundo, Jax, Ornn, Xanthi, Yone, Yasuo, and Riven. On the other hand, champions that Garen struggles against are Vayne, Quinn, Teemo, Kayle, Kennen, Jace, Tryndamere, Mordekaiser, Fiora, and Camille. They poke you from a distance to keep lane priority, and their mid to long range auto attacks and skills constantly disable your passive heal. Even if you try to close the gap, they use movement speed buffs or CC, leaving no opening for Garen, who lacks a dash, to get close. On top of that, champions like Kayle and Kennen have a massive impact in team fights. Garen deeply struggles against anyone with a range advantage.
Faith in yourself.
Garen's role in team fights requires a bit of strategic thinking. Garen completely lacks hard CC and reliable engage tools. If you try to engage by yourself, you will get melted instantly, so be very careful. You don't want to just hang around mid-lane with your mage
Never
and
forget
ADC.
why we fight.
Your goal should be to shove the waves in the lane on the opposite side of the
Ally
objective.
slain.
Garen cannot initiate a 5v5 on his own. If you take the full enemy focus, you'll get melted instantly. Wait for another champion with hard CC to engage first, then follow up. Once the enemies are grouped, spin with your skill 3,
Enemy
and use your
slain.
skill 2 and Sterix gauge to tank their burst damage. Finally, back off when your health drops to around 20%. If you're playing from behind, you don't want to force unnecessary damage. Instead, Garen should head to the lane on the opposite side of the objective and push. If the enemy doesn't show up, go ahead and shred that tower down. If it looks like your team can win the fight, you can also use your teleport to join them. Alright, as you can see here, our jungler Vigo hasn't arrived yet, so we're not going to force the dragon. Also, 2 of our teammates are dead, and since they have a numbers advantage, we're not going to force a fight. I was about to back off, but the enemies are low, and Vigo just went in, so I'm jumping into the fight too.
Double kill. You have slain an enemy. Your team has slain the dragon.
The enemy Kayn is fed, so I'm buying Thornmail. Red Kayn has huge sustain, making grievous wounds a must-have. Since there's nothing much to do right now, I'm going to push the lane on the opposite side of Baron. I really wanted our support, Morgana, to go to the Baron side lane. Supports shouldn't go to the lane opposite of Baron because their job is to secure vision around Baron and protect the ADC. Kayn was just spotted on the Baron side. It looks like the enemy wants to start Baron. I'm going to keep pushing the side lane to apply pressure on them. I really don't want my teammates to force a fight here. The enemy has the numbers advantage, so they should just poke and stall them instead. My teammates just got taken down. The enemy will secure Baron now, but I'm going to take their tier 3 tower. It's a trade.
I stand ready.
Since I have damage items and the Demolish rune, Garen can destroy towers in the blink of an
Enemy
eye.
team has slain Baron Nashor.
I will lead the charge.
Since there's nothing more to do on the bot side, next we're going to push the lane on the top side. While the enemy has the Baron buff, we should avoid forcing any unnecessary team fights.
Protect our land.
Danger in bottom jungle.
The infamy.
Middle turret is under attack.
The enemies are grouping on the bot side,
Enemy
so I'm going to
slain.
take this opportunity to push for the top lane tower.
In the king's
Ally
name.
slain. Enemy double kill. Ally slain. Enemy slain.
We have the numbers advantage, so we're going to take down Kayn right here.
Enemy turret destroyed. Enemy slain.
We are the vanguard.
We managed to destroy the top side tier 3 tower. Since we've taken down the towers on both sides, we now have a massive advantage. Since the super minions are applying pressure, the enemy will be forced to send players to clear the waves. We want to keep pushing, leverage our numbers advantage, and aggressively force team fights.
I will fight as long as I stand.
Enemy turret
We've destroyed the mid-tier 3 tower as well. Now, all we need to do is carefully push the waves from all 3 lanes and trap them in their base. At this point, it's a total checkmate.
This world needs hope.
The enemy Kayn is targeting me right now, while I'm drawing his attention.
Elemental
I
dragon
really
is
want my
spawning
team to
soon.
shove the remaining
Heal
2
up.
lanes.
Stay resolute.
Red Kayn deals percent health damage, so it hurts a lot even if you're a tank.
Behold,
shut down. Your team has slain the dragon.
I stand ready.
Garen doesn't have much to do in team fights, so I'm going to push the lane on the opposite side of Baron to apply pressure. It's like saying, if you touch Baron, I'll just backdoor and finish the game right here.
On my way. On my way.
Elder dragon is spawning soon. Heal up.
Battle the infamy.
Ally slain. Enemy slain. Your team has slain Baron Nashor. Enemy slain.
That Kayn is only thinking about getting kills. Meanwhile, their Nexus is being pushed heavily. As a Baron laner, you have 2 main roles: to act as a tank in team fights, or to apply side lane pressure like we did this time.
Enemy double
Personally,
kill.
I love Baron
Ally
laners who
slain.
push side lanes and apply pressure. It makes it so much easier to make plays and control the game.
Victory!